Oh yeah, yeah.
And his pants were unzipped and falling off him, and he
brought some duct tape and ducked his pants
duct taped his pants off.
Anyway, we're backstage at Caesars Atlantic City.
I remember that was fun.
Going over some old memories with Donny and Marie Osmond, and right now we're back in 1983 at the Claridge Hotel here in Atlantic City.
You're not using that footage.
Which oddly enough is owned by Caesars Entertainment. In 1983, Marie pulled the greatest stage stunt on her brother that I have seen.
Well, it's good to see you again, David.
Well, it's good to see you again,
Good to see you.
and welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back. I got to finish the story about what you did because it was probably the last time the two of you worked together in Atlantic City.
Together, it was the last time.
Yeah,
I think
it was. And Marie had finished her solo spot in the show, and now it was Donny's turn. So she went off stage with her wireless microphone and went into the facilities and put the mic just above the water and flushed.
Yeah.
But it was during what song, Donny?
Puppy Love.
It was during while he was singing Puppy Love. And here's the best part. Nobody in the audience could hear it because they just fed it through his monitor.
I did.
So he heard it.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of have a deal where if we do something, we keep it between the two of us.
Yeah.
We don't
but I
want
was
to
all
affect
flushed
the-
at the time.
Jeez. Can't imagine that you would have said that.
No.
Really. Anyway, welcome back to Atlantic City.
It's
after,
good to be
after
back.
all these
Great
years.
to be here.
You were supposed to be here a year ago.
I
by
was.
yourself.
Yeah, Irene had other plans for me. Yeah, Irene just kind of blew in here.
Irene blew you out. And I had said to Don Marandino,
Yes.
who's the president of the 4 Caesars properties in Atlantic City, who put you two guys back together in Las Vegas.
That's right.
He's responsible.
I said
I
to
got to
him,
talk to him about this.
Well, I said to him last year, I said, how could you let Donny go over to Borgata? And he said, let me tell you something. He said, anybody can book Donny. Anybody can book Marie. He said, I'm the only one who can book the two of them together. Which brings us to where we are
That is
today.
such a
That's right.
Don would say
Don
that.
Is that a Don? All right. So how did this happen? I mean, it's not like you guys had split up. You're still brother and sister. But you hadn't worked together on a stage for a
Well,
long
David,
time.
we knew that inevitably we would get back together and do something, and we decided to try the Flamingo in Las Vegas. When Don showed me the room, I called Marie. I said, "You've got to see this room, and it's perfect. It reminds us of what Vegas used to be like back in the '70s." And so
Which the two of you know very well.
Very
It
well.
was that era.
It was
you know,
that-
of Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr. It's a certain type of room that you kind of have to know how to play the room. It's
Right.
Yeah.
It's what, 750 seats?
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
A little bit more, but
So kind of like
But
the
with
old Sands
booths
Cobra
and
room.
not just chairs. It's really fun.
It's the type of room that doesn't really exist anymore, except at a place like the Flamingo.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Because
but
they
you know
took them
what?
all
There's
out.
something about this room here at Caesars that last night we opened up here, and the electricity in the audience. I mean, it was amazing.
It was an electrical storm outside.
Yeah, exactly. But we get into the audience. We get them involved. We're all over the place, and it was just like nonstop energy from the beginning to
Well,
end.
and I have to say too, the sound here.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Beautiful.
It's a great room.
For people who, we sing a lot of different styles of music in the show, and so sound is really important for us. And we walked in, and of course, our guy, he does a lot of the big New York shows and things like that. He travels with us, and he's like, "Oh, I love this place."
Well,
it's a beautiful room.
But it takes you out of your comfort zone because you're used to that smaller room in Vegas with the tables and the chairs and the booze and everything and beverage service and everything. And here,
David,
Well,
we've been doing this for 50 years.
right? I know. Yeah.
I mean, we're heading
but
over
we
to
could-
the O2. We're doing
Give me a
big show
cafeteria. I'll
there.
perform in the cafeteria. You know, it doesn't matter.
just-
It really
No,
didn't matter.
I mean, in January we were playing the O2 Arena in
Right.
London.
Right.
So I mean, you just adapt,
you
to
adapt
the
show
atmosphere.
for the people. Yeah.
And when you decided to come here, I know Don tried to get you here the last 2 summers, and it just didn't work out. But he wanted you to bring a modified version of the show. But you, whose motto is "Go big or stay home,"
It's
said-
you read the quote.
well, we talked about it on the
Yeah,
phone a couple
that's
weeks
true.
ago.
That's true. And Don said, "Bring the show out." And I said, "Don, Marie and I have worked so hard to get the show where it is right now, and it would be the wrong representation of our show just to bring out a cut down version of the show to Caesars." He said, "Well, then bring it out." I said, "Don, you're talking dancers, multimedia, the orchestra, everything." He said, "Bring it out."
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple things that are missing as far as just a couple little set unit things that really don't make. Actually, I kind of like it without it. But it is a big show. Lots of dancers, lots of lighting. I mean, it's production. It's a big show.
It's huge.
So,
Well, what I found interesting is that Don put this together, put you guys together. I guess it's about 4.5 years ago. At the same time, the hotel across the street, their big sister, Caesar's Palace, is doing residency deals with Celine Dion and Bette Midler and Jerry Seinfeld and Elton John and Cher, and you go down the list.
Right.
And then he said, well, you know what, I'll go put Donny and Marie back together. I mean, it was like defying, the trend and going to old school.
You know, Don had a great vision, and it's fun. I don't know if you know this, but we were just voted best show in Vegas.
I was about to say best singer.
Best singer.
Yeah.
Hello.
I beat Celine, baby.
Now you've heard Donny Osmond jokes before. That's not a Donny Osmond joke. That's real.
That's real.
For real. Congratulations.
And
Thank you.
I mean, it's really flattering when you look at who's there, from Rod Stewart, like you said, to Celine. And I don't know. I think one of the things we've been performing for 5 decades now, and maybe there's this sibling relationship or whatever it is, but we both work really hard. It's like last night we had to readjust some of the choreography. We hadn't talked about it before the show.
Just go out there and do it.
We just look at each other and go, oh, okay, and you just kind of know what to do, and maybe that's sibling, or maybe that's just working with each other.
Maybe it's experience. I don't know what it is.
But I think that translates to wherever, and I think the audience.
But you're right.
Trying to make
Don
them have a
did
good
take a
time.
chance when all those residencies were going in at Caesar's Palace in Vegas. Everybody was scratching their heads. Don Marandino, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, this is a guy who hangs out with Sammy Hagar.
Right.
And, these rock and roll animals.
But Don's got vision. I mean, he knows our work ethic.
On me.
No, he knows our work ethic. He knows what kind of show we can put together.
That stays in the show. That stays.
No, he was hitting on me. But
that stays too. That stays too. That stays too.
We're having a bromance, basically.
Yeah. Too bad the audience isn't back here watching this. But see the comedy portion of the show. What was it like, though, when you put this act together? I mean, you're doing what amounts to a retro act, because we don't see this.
Well, not really, David. Not really. There are moments where we go retro because people want to hear Paper Roses. They want to hear Puppy Love and Crazy Horses and songs like that. They want to see the visuals. But we bring them up to date as well. I mean, we just had a #1 country record.
I'm talking about the type of show it is. It's a variety show. It's a production show.
Yeah.
And we don't see that anymore.
No, we don't.
No. But you're talking 5 decades. It's like you said, we go from our original hits to, like you said, we have a current #1 record. And so when you have all of those, musical genres, and I do everything from opera to Broadway to his dancing, and I mean, he brings it every night. He's in, don't tell him I said this, but he's in pretty good shape.
She didn't say that.
No, she didn't say that.
I did not
I have a
hear
secret weapon.
And what is that?
It's pro tandem. Have you heard about it?
Oh, please.
Yeah. It's pro tandem. That's my secret weapon.
That I'm in the dark.
It's on my website. Check it out.
I have to check it out.
It is
All right.
proven to but to slow down the aging process, and it works.
Okay, order me a case, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, do you change the show out that much? I mean, you've been doing it for over 4 years out there.
Well, David, what we do is we evolve it, rather than just completely, because it'd be too expensive.
Right.
Plus, if something's working, you don't throw it out. You just kind of change it and massage a little bit. And for instance, I'm putting in I'm probably going to come in about a $60,000, $70,000 number I'm putting in the fall, getting it ready for the O2. But it's just things like that. You just keep infusing all these.
Do you have to split the cost with them?
No,
that's all
mine.
mine.
Okay.
She's putting in $100,000.
That's just my dress, okay?
But you constantly change it. Because you know what, David? We're finding a lot of people coming back to our show in Vegas 3, 4, 5 times. Mm-hmm. And every time you come back, you say, wow, the show's different.
We do a meet and greet in Las Vegas. Nobody else does it. But it's funny because people will come from, like you said, Australia and the Philippines and Hong Kong. I mean, and they'll come back every year. So we try to, at least every year, to add some freshness in, whether it's a new record or, whatever it is.
Donny and Marie is a brand. It's more than just, a brother and sister. It's more than an act. It's become a brand. How do you protect that brand? Especially when the brand isn't working together.
Does it need protecting?
Does it? You tell me.
Well, you bet it needs protecting, because we're very careful with what we put on stage, because we have really watched that brand and the quality of that brand. So when people come, they buy a Donny Marie ticket, they know they're going to be entertained. You mentioned something earlier about variety. Right. Not a lot of people are doing variety because they can't. They really can't, because Marie and I, we put everything on stage. We leave it all on stage. So when they walk out, they don't just walk out loving the production and the dance number. They walk out knowing a little bit about Donny and Marie's personality.
it's like we
See,
do-
and that's the key, because we learned this from Frank Sinatra and Andy Williams and Dean Martin, all these people. 'cause
But you were just little kids when you were learning that.
yeah, but what we learned was you just don't get up there and sing a song.
Right.
You just don't, throw money at a show. You give them part of you.
I think those days are gone. I think people want to be entertained. They want and it's like, he was saying that, over the years, in this show, Donny and Marie, we hadn't worked together in 28 years, but during that, we never stopped working. I mean, literally, when you say 5 decades, I mean continuously. And so we have just put a piece in where we show some of the highlights from the various shows that we've done, like Beauty and the Beast and Joseph and King and I and Sound of Music, and we do a whole piece where we show vocally, some things that we've done. So it's really not just Donny and Marie songs. I mean,
No.
it's Marie's songs, Donny's songs. I had a lot of hit records. I have a new show coming out this fall on Hallmark, a talk show that I'm doing. So we talk about that. We keep them involved. People are out there with their dolls. I mean, they come from where they left you last. Some people remember you on the Donny and Marie variety show. Some people remember the Donny and Marie talk show. Some people remember, touring in country shows and venues and his thing. So it's really an eclectic
We had an
audience.
experience not long ago, David, in Vegas. Marie mentioned that we do meet and greets.
Right.
And these 3 ladies came back. Grandma, Mom, and the daughter. All 3 generations. And they were having the women's night out, and they came back to meet us. And they were having the time of their lives. But what was really interesting, the mom turned to me and says, my 13-year-old daughter, she enjoyed it more than we did. But what was interesting is that the grandma knew us from something, the mom knew us from something different, and the little girl knew us from the recent stuff. So,
that says a lot for your
well, it
stage.
presents a
She
challenge,
was-
though, because what
she
kind
was
of
a
show do
doll-
you
she
give?
was a
Well,
doll
yeah.
collector. And it's so funny because they.
No, she
the
liked
one-
me better.
No, the one little girl came to the show and she's like, "Mommy, I didn't know she could sing too," because she thought I was just a doll designer, And so it was so.
Well,
funny.
it's like the old joke about Paul McCartney when someone says, "Oh, that's Paul McCartney." You mean he was in a band before Wings?
Wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or now it's just, I guess it would be, oh, you mean he did something before he was solo?
Yeah. Well, what's interesting, even with my Twitter account, Marie's got a Twitter account too, but the age groups and the demographics that follow, because social media is so important nowadays. I mean, we get involved so much with social media, and that's how we've been able to garner so many different demographics out there.
It is amazing the way you hit a younger audience up to. Well, you said earlier that you were doing a show and there's a 95-year-old woman in the back.
Right.
Who sang to you?
They sang to
Well,
me.
but-
And then just before that, it was an 8-year-old girl asking for a different song too. So it went from 8 to 95 in 5 minutes.
But honestly, I mean, truth. Every night when I know I go out there, I know that he feels the same way. I'm blown away that people are still interested in
Even
hearing
after
us
all these
sing.
years, I mean.
After all these years,
Wow.
I mean, to be a female in this business who has lasted 5 decades, I don't know many. And so I feel
Me?
so blessed.
Oh, that-
No,
female.
Yeah,
Female,
you're
female.
female.
You
Oh,
should
boy.
see me in a dress. I have some pumps in there you'll love.
But-
Oh, let me try them on.
Yeah.
What size?
At
But
9.
it really is an
I'm like,
honor.
oh, yeah, I can
Nine?
do it.
It is. It's an honor, and it's something that I know I don't take for granted. I appreciate it, and so it doesn't matter if you're tired or if you're not quite up to par. We give it everything we can for every show, because we may never see them again. They may never be to another show, and the audiences here have been fantastic. Last night they were phenomenal. I've never
Well,
seen.
because you haven't been here together.
Oh, I know, and it's
In a
almost
long
30
time.
years.
every show
Yeah.
is sold out. Last night, Don Marandino came backstage. He goes, "They're fighting for tickets in the front."
Oh, he was all
he
smiles
so
last
cute.
night.
And I said, "Don, what? It's an honor. It's really a privilege to be here." So.
Well, it's like a validation for him because he put you together again back in Las Vegas, and that worked. But now he's bringing you,
And it worked
to
here.
this market,
Yeah.
and
He's
you
a
haven't
good
been here in
man.
30
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, it's a good man.
Yeah. Do you ever see taking the show on the road, or are you just comfortable
We
sitting
do.
in Vegas?
We
You
absolutely
Yeah.
do. As a matter of fact, this holiday season, we're taking the Christmas show. We have a totally different show, going to Arizona, Los Angeles, Salt Lake City, and then right after that, not a whole different show, but kind of a different show over to the UK, and that's going to be an arena type of tour. And then we go back to Las Vegas.
We
and-
didn't.
so
know.
here again, you
Yeah,
adapt to the venue,
Yeah.
you know?
As long as you don't go back to Detroit, because I know in Detroit you ran into a driver
love
last year.
Detroit.
Well, you like Detroit, but the driver that picked Donnie up thought he was 90. What happened?
No, he thought Donny Osmond was
He thought-
90.
right,
he
right.
thought
He
I
thought-
had
right.
replaced the original Donny Osmond.
Right, which kind of speaks to how long you've been.
Yeah.
You've
See,
been doing this.
Protanum, it works.
Donnie is 90.
Is he? Well, I don't want to say what
Tandem
that
works.
makes you. Listen, I know you guys got 1,500 people out there waiting to see you. Thank you
Oh, you're
again.
so cute.
Thank you for
It's
coming
really
back.
Great to see you, buddy.
Good to see you again.
All righty.
And continued success.
Thank you.